Hello, friends. Welcome back. A new day brings new headlines, and one story in particular is causing quite a stir, involving a move that rewrites 500 years of history. I spent years inside one of the major media conglomerates, watching from the inside as narratives were spun and the real stories were buried. I couldn't be a part of it anymore, so I left. Now I'm on my own, speaking directly to you, and committed to uncovering the truth that actually matters. If you believe in that mission, if you value this independent voice, please take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you're able to, consider becoming a channel sponsor. Your support isn't just a donation, it's the fuel that keeps this platform alive and free from corporate influence. Thank you for that. Now, for the first time since Henry VIII, an English monarch will publicly pray with the Pope. That's right. This month, the King and Queen will travel to the Vatican, where they will participate in an ecumenical service with Pope Leo XIV in the Sistine Chapel. For anyone who needs a refresher, the last time something like this happened was before Henry VIII had his infamous falling out with Rome, deciding a divorce was more important than a papal blessing. Henry VIII was married to Catherine of Aragon, but they had no male heir, only a daughter. The king fell for Anne Boleyn and consequently wanted a divorce. It's a complicated story, but the bottom line was that the Catholic Church didn't do divorces, and Pope Clement VII at the time refused to annul the marriage. So, in 1534, Henry VIII declared himself the supreme head of the Church of England. The English Parliament passed it, officially severing ties with Rome, and just like that, the Anglican Church was born, independent of the Pope. But now, it seems, things are changing. Buckingham Palace is calling this a historic moment. To put it simply, after half a millennium, an Anglican king and a Catholic pope will finally sit side by side and say Amen together. And since we're on the topic of King Charles, it's worth mentioning the news about his brother, which is also being hotly debated. British Prince Andrew has announced he is relinquishing his titles, including Duke of York, due to the Epstein affair. Prince Andrew will also lose his membership in the Order of the Garter, which is the highest order of chivalry in the UK. However, he will retain the title of Prince by birthright as the son of Queen Elizabeth II. And although it's reported that Andrew personally said the ongoing accusations against him are a distraction from the work of His Majesty and the royal family, everyone understands he simply has no other choice. Shifting from European royalty to its political class, discontent is growing among members of the European Parliament, and it's centered on the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. MEPs are complaining to European journalists that strategic decisions are increasingly being made by small insulated groups, now known as Ursula's clique, a brand new term for you. Decisions are being made without proper consultation with specialized commissioners or other political groups. Access to the 13th floor of the Berlaymont building, the heart of executive power in Brussels, where von der Leyen both works and partially lives, is severely restricted even for members of the European Commission and high-ranking officials. The media has already dubbed it the Fortress of Paranoia on the 13th floor. An independent member of the European Parliament named Fabio De Masi spoke out openly, stating that von der Leyen represents a new political culture in Brussels that seeks to be closer to power and the feeding trough. That was the literal phrase used, while engagement with the Parliament and the public declines. As a result, the number of dissatisfied people is naturally growing. We'll see how this develops. Almost simultaneously, shocking news emerged for some political parties in Germany, like the Social Democrats, the Greens and the Left. The right-wing party Alternative for Germany, or AfD, is rising to a new all-time high, leaving Friedrich Merz's Union 2 points behind. In the latest poll, the AfD received 27% support. This is the highest figure ever recorded by the German research center INSA. This is also one of the key barometers of public opinion in Germany, and its data is often cited by politicians and journalists. The party and leader ratings they publish can significantly influence political discourse. These are the realities that have come to light today. And while we're on the topic of Germany, I have to add another interesting, if not bizarre, story. Just yesterday, I shared the official information from Berlin authorities about the city's rat infestation, which they admitted they can't handle. Well, today, a new report came out. Berlin is launching an image campaign. The first signs have appeared, and they are surprising. Did you know that rats are very clean? One poster asks. They groom themselves more often than cats. That's the explanation given to everyone. The poster also features a cute rat grooming itself in a bathtub for some reason. This whole campaign is eerily similar to an initiative in Paris, where they are, of course, more professionally highlighting the positive sides of their rat population. But now, as you can see, Berlin has started promoting the idea that the appearance of rats is a perfectly normal phenomenon. They're clean, they take care of themselves. There's just one big but. A rat might be clean for itself, but for a city, it remains a symbol of unsanitary conditions. The irony is that, according to German media publications, while children's playgrounds are being closed due to rat infestations, the city authorities are trying to convince residents that rats are practically domestic pets. So Berlin, just like Paris, is becoming a city that runs PR for rats. Now let's shift gears to the United States. President Donald Trump has made it clear that the Republican Party has no intention of making the concessions Democrats are demanding to unlock government operations. "We are not going to let these people into our country," Trump declared. "We will not release thousands and thousands of people for political reasons from prisons, from colonies, from wherever, from mental asylums, from many countries." He continued, "We're not going to do it." So the shutdown continues. This is a Democrat shutdown. It's a Schumer shutdown, because his career has failed and it's over. That was the word-for-word declaration. There's also a firestorm over a very unusual response from the White House press office to the left-leaning Huffington Post. When asked why Donald Trump chose Budapest as a meeting location, the question was, who picked Budapest? White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt gave a short reply: "Your mom." And now the left-wing media is more outraged than ever at this blunt response. But just a minute later, the White House Communications Director, Stephen Chung, repeated the exact same phrase. The relationship between the administration and the media in the US has clearly taken a dramatic turn. But let's set all that complexity aside for a moment. There's another fascinating story today, this time from Norway. The Prime Minister, Jonas Gahr Støre, made a heartfelt confession. During his election campaign, he, let's say, tolerantly embellished reality, as is common in Norway. In early September, right before the election, Støre promised to maintain a government program providing free ferry services. For a country with countless deep-sea inlets and islands, this sounded like a transportation revolution. Basically, ride the ferry every day and don't pay a dime. The people were overjoyed. They believed him. This is our guy, they thought, working for the people. So they voted, the Labour Party won, and Støre became Prime Minister. But now the Prime Minister has come out and said, sorry folks, that was a mistake. There will be no free ferries. And it wasn't just him apologizing. The Minister of Health, who actively used this slogan in campaign videos, also issued an apology. It turns out they decided to scrap the program in this year's budget, leaving only partial funding. So the promise to keep free ferries was a political maneuver that didn't align with the government's real plans. From the outside, it looks like this. They made a promise, won the election, and then confessed. Sorry, we misled you a bit. It's ugly, of course, it's ugly, unexpected. Well, this is politics after all. And perhaps this is just the beginning. It's not convenient to apologize for all your campaign promises on the same day, so we'll wait for the sequel. But there is a silver lining. Not every government admits after an election that it deceived its voters. This gives us a new category in politics, the honest deceivers. First they deceive you, and then after the election, they apologize for how ugly it all turned out and say they feel ashamed. And that's the state of play for today. I've laid out the British monarchy mending a 500-year-old rift, the growing power struggles within the EU, Germany's political shift and its bizarre rat PR, the sharp-tongued turn in US political communication, and a textbook case of campaign promises turning to dust in Norway. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this. As always, I wish you peace and a clear sky, and if you believe in this mission of independent, unfiltered news, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and if you can, becoming a sponsor. It's your support that makes all of this possible. Thank you.